everyone. This is your host, Dr. Almas Awan, bringing innovation from the global south on Future Frame TV, the collective podcast of Traces.Dreams. Today, we have with us Dr. Shahid Qamar, innovator at TAKMIL, an international non-profit. A very brief introduction about Dr. Shahid Qamar. He is a research scientist and social entrepreneur. Dr. Qamar is very actively involved in social and community-based projects in the USA and Pakistan. He founded Teach a Kid, Make Individual Life with the name TAKMIL. It's a project which is an international nonprofit dedicated to providing education to out-of-the-school children in remote communities in Pakistan. The organization has served around 2,000 children in 30 communities across Pakistan through a very unique disruptive educational model which integrates technology. Dr. Shahid Qamar, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Tell us something about your project.
So the idea behind TAKMIL Project is to provide education to those children who are out of school system, who do not have access to education, who do not have access to internet, and who do not have access to electricity. So this project is all about providing education to children between the age of 4 and 14 using technology. There are about 300 million children on the face of the earth who are out of school system in the 21st century. I mean, think about it. We are about to launch a new life in Mars, and we are exploring other planets. But at the same time, even in this planet, there are about 300 million children who are living in remote areas, slums, war zones, refugee camps, and they do not have access to education. How we can move forward, how we can take this world, how we can move forward in 21st century when such a big chunk of children who are the building block of any nation, they do not have access to education. So I started this project, just a research in 2016. I worked on this project for a whole year. And I figured out how we can provide education to these folks who are just breathing and they don't have access to education, no basic necessities of life. So I come up with this idea and I built up the whole program. It took me a year to test the model and validate it. And now we are running about 20 schools in Pakistan in remote areas. And we are providing education to about 1,000 students. So overall, we have completed 30 projects. And we have provided education to about 2,000 students.
That's great. But how was the idea we have many ideas, there are many people around the world, they keep on thinking and giving ideas, but you were the one who went for, something on a very practical basis. How was that journey, for converting, something that was at the idea stage to something practical that, you just told us that more than, 2,000 children, they have been graduated.
I have a science background and being a science student, you always try to solve the complex problem, especially in physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology. So my background is physics and I am trained to solve complex problems. It doesn't matter if you can solve it or not, but at least you pick a complex problem which have not been solved before and just try. So it's not about the solution or the destination of the problem. It's all about the journey and learning. My problem statement is very tough in a sense that you are trying to provide education to those children who do not have access. And they are living in a small area, small pocket, in some remote area, no internet, no school, and no electricity. So this is the toughest problem. And you are sitting out of the country. How you can solve this problem? It took me months and months to think about it, how I can do it, what would be my delivery process, what would be my monitoring process, what would be my assessment process? What would be my evaluation process? So technology is there in bit and pieces. So I basically didn't do anything novel. I just connected the dots, and that is the novelty. Like you pick one thing, this thing, and you connect the dot and you make your own picture. So when I ran the first pilot in KPK Madan, it worked very well. And I thought maybe it's also positive. So I repeated it in six different other places and I got the same results. Then it convinced me now this is doable. So this project is based on two hypotheses. My first hypothesis was that these children between age of 4 and 14, they have same learning curve. You know that we are living in a system where I send my child first grade, the second grade, then third grade, and fourth and fifth. So our children, they get the 5 year education, fifth year education, 5 years. So my hypothesis was that we can provide them the same education in 1 year. That was the first hypothesis. The second hypothesis was if we eliminate the teacher, the physical teacher, and we just use the technology and videos lesson, maybe student will perform better. So that's what I did. I picked these children between the age of 4 and 14, and I provided them video lesson, and I tested them for 3 months, monitored them for 3 months. In 3 months, these children, they learned basic alphabets without a teacher, without the electricity, without the school. So I provided them video lesson in small laptop. I powered laptop with the solar panel. I provided them the projector and a powered projector with a solar panel. And then one local person, he just ran the whole project. The students, they just watch the videos. These students, they never been to school. They just watch the videos like English, Urdu, mathematics. After 3 months of constant monitoring, I found that they learned basic alphabets. So my first hypothesis confirmed that these children between age of 4 and 14, they have the same learning curve. The second hypothesis that if you use the technology, they can learn. So I replicated this project in 7 different places and it worked again. Then I developed my whole curriculum, the whole technology, everything.
So actually, I mean, apparently seems like a simple project, but it is not simple because it involves so many people and things in the middle, so many factors. So one of the factor, children that you just told us that they are not in the school. Would you like to highlight what are the reasons that children they are out of school in so many parts of the world? And if you want to talk specifically about Pakistan, so as you wish.
I mean, there are multiple reasons. When I was researching this project, I found multiple reasons. Of course, one is the poverty, like especially in developing countries. The second reason was they are living in the remote areas. The third reason was they are living in war zones and refugee camps. Unfortunately, for the last 30 years, there are so many wars, and the children, the family, they displaced. If they had education access, but they lost it because of the war. So, particularly in Pakistan, there are about 25 million children. Out of 300, 25 million live in Pakistan. And out of 25 million, there are about 1 million and 10 million. They live in those remote areas in periphery of the Pakistan, either in the interior or in the peripheries where there's no access. So there are children living in big cities like Lahore, Karachi, Islamabad, and they do not go to school. They do not go to school for other reason because there's a child mafia, there's a labor mafia, child labor, and all kind of thing. And even if you try to provide them education, their parent would not allow them because they are earning money using these children. So I did not bother them. I did not go to my backyard because I'm from Lahore. I know there are a lot of children out of school in Lahore. I did not go there. So I went to the remote area where they are not involved in the child labor, right? They are just roaming around. They're small villages. They have nothing to do in their life. So that was the easy route for me. That was the least resistance path that I approached them and I talked to the community. They understood and they are not paying any tuition fee. They are not walking miles and miles. The girls are sitting in their hometown. The teacher or the facilitator is not coming from outside. He is from that town, and they are not asked to buy books or uniform or pay the fees and all kind of thing. So we provided them each and everything. On the top of that, I talked to the students and the parents. I said, do whatever you want to do in your life. I did not try to disturb their social fabrics. Do whatever you want to do in your life. If you are working in a shop, or you are playing in the morning, or helping your parent, do whatever you want to do. Just give me 2 hours and you pick the time, morning, afternoon, or evening. You pick the time and just give me 2 hours, and that's it. So that worked very well. That worked very well. We have about 99.9% retention for the last 4 years. The project we started, these students are still there. They came at the first grader, then now they are in the sixth or seventh grade. Some of them are in the eighth grade. So because I understood the culture, the Pakistani culture, that I went inside the local culture, like what is Pashtun culture, what is Balochi and Sindhi and Punjabi. I understood their local languages, which I know, and their local. So I tried to bypass some of the barriers. Technical barrier we crossed. Whatever I had to do, we crossed those barriers. But some of the local barrier we bypassed. We did not cross. We did not touch them. We bypassed, and then we tried to solve the problem. And now we are at the stage where this project is working very well, and we are now at a point where we want to scale it up at a larger level, because providing education to 2,000, 3,000, even 10,000 is nothing. There are 25 million children out of school in Pakistan, and we want to scale it up. And model is working, it's tested, it's validated, and now we want to replicate it.
So traditionally, we have like in schooling system, each grade is like of 1 year, one whole year. And in your project, like you said, that children they are in different grades. So each grade has how much duration?
So we made it in such a way that in 2 months we complete one grade.
Okay.
So in 10 months we complete the 5 grades, and then we have 2 months which we equally distributed for the repetition, for tests, for the exam. On the top of that, we do not use a word of fail and pass. We do not use a word of 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%. No. Our teacher, our student, they are not aware of these languages, like who is fail, who is pass, who got the 60%, who got the 70%. So what we do, we have assessments. So we assess the student, and we made a digital assessment, and I can see these assessment here in you while sitting in the dashboard, what's happening there. So for example, if students is given 5 questions, right, in the whole class, 5 questions, and in the fourth question, if I found that in the fourth question in some particular topic, most of the students they struggled, like they took 66 in sixth attempt or fifth attempt, they passed that class. So I understood that they need some reinforcement. So I did not say, okay, now you go to the next level and they will stay. No, I asked the teacher, okay, go back and reinforce that topic. So he did it, and then we again evaluated them. So we made sure that everybody at the same level, and then we asked, okay, now you go to the second level now, go to the next grade. So there is no grade, in fact, there are levels. So you are a science student, there's a group velocity, right? When you look at in the sky, sometimes you see that the birds they are flying all together with a group velocity. But each bird is within their own community. It's some of them they are slow, some fast, some are flipping and turning around. So we provide that help to those students. If they are slow, we push them. If they are fast, we hold them. If they are rotating, we hold them. So, but the group velocity, everybody is going with the group velocity. At the end of the 2 months or whatever, they go to the next level altogether.
That's very interesting. I mean, I'm going to ask you a question that is, I mean, the answer is going to be so wide. It's a very big topic, but I mean, just briefly, can you compare traditional system of schooling with the system that you developed, and what do you think? What are the changes that traditional systems they require some changes as well in Pakistan?
Of course, I mean, not only in Pakistan, in the rest of the world, we need to move forward. We need to move forward from a 400-year-old traditional educational system to a new system. So this system, which where even in US, in North America and everywhere, this is a 400 years old system where they developed the human computer. This computer today and the 400 years old computer, they are different in such a way that 400 years, they ask you, okay, you do not have capacity to learn 5 grade of level of education when you are at the age of 6, right? So they put a barrier on your mind. Like you went to the first grade, sometimes you are able to solve second and third grade problem, but the system did not allow you. They put the cap on you. So what happened? Your neural network stopped working. Your neural network works like elastic, right? You challenge it, you struggle, you put more effort, you have more communication among the neurons. So you move the first level, the second level, the third level, if you do not have the barrier. But what happened in this system, first grade, second, third grade, we put the barrier. Okay, you just can't learn this thing. You cannot move forward. And the teacher or the system did not allow them to learn something out of the box. That is the problem with this system. So there is no creativity. There is no innovation in that. So this is a rata system. You come, you learn, you memorize, you spit the stuff in the exam. So what we did, we took off that lid from their mind. Okay, we said, okay, now you are free bird. You learn whatever you want to learn. We will provide you all the resources. Students struggle. They challenge their brain. They challenge their neural network. They enhanced, they've applied more force and they stretched their brain. So there's a more communication. So in 21st century, this century is driven by the data, right? And we are producing the data at the moment. This in 21st century, my children, your children, this generation, they do not have 15 years to go to school and college and get some piece of paper, then start working. So we have to remove all those barriers. Just train them on different skills, different technologies, so that they can become asset of the society rather than they are liability of the society for 15 years till they finish their college. And even after that, they do not get a job. So we need to provide them the latest technology, the latest skill, and we have to remove all those barriers, all those constraints which we are using for the last 400 years. And that's exactly what I did. I mean, this was a blessing in disguise. I had these children, 4 to 14, right? They already missed the school bus. I cannot put them in for like 10 years old child. I cannot put him first grade, right? So based on my experience and scientific rules, I challenged their brain and they did it. Now your child in your country, whatever he knows about mathematics at the age of 10, the same knowledge, those children, they are equipped with the same knowledge living in the remote area. So we proved it that you challenge your mind, you provide them different environment, they will learn and they learn it. And that's what we have to do.
That's wonderful. I mean, just listening to your project, it's like I want to know more about it. So, how was the funding process? Because you just said that for this project, for running this project, you are not asking anything from those children or from the parents of those children who join this school. So, and you're providing everything, from books or tablets and teachers. So, how was the funding process? Tell us something about that.
So basically, when I started this project, I believe on three things. One is your intention that you want to do something. And being a person of faith, I believe on du'as, then I make prayer, right? And the fourth is the funding. So once you have intention and you make efforts, you make dua, then your product brings the funding. So when I presented this project to my few of my friends, so they provided me seed money. Okay, go ahead and test it. I tested it, worked very well. Then I talked to my community then. So at the moment, my city where I'm living, this is Family Friends Network. They provide the funding for this project, right? Now it's a 4 year we have tested and validated the project. Now we are trying to reach out different organizations because my understanding was if we ask funding to big organization like Gates Foundation or UNICEF, UNESCO, or whoever, if they gave me, okay, here's a $10 million, and you provide education to million students, I would have said at that time no. But now we are at a point where if I have the funding, then I can replicate and I can implement it. So to answer your question, I generated funding from my friends for the last 4 years. Now we are reaching out to different communities and local communities and international communities, the organizations and all whoever is in capacity. So that's what we are doing now.
You are trying to solve problems of so many children around the world. My question to you is that what were those challenges and barriers that you yourself faced in this journey?
Our challenge as the barrier or challenge as a challenge. And of course, it was not easy ride to take, and still it's not easy. It's a very bumpy ride. We had different issues which challenge I faced where I was not, I'm not expert like in curriculum development, in product development, something like this. So that I resolved. I find good people and everything. Now, the big challenge at the moment for us is access to those communities. So, 25 million children who are out of school, I need to know their footprints. I need to know their coordinates, right? That is one challenge. The other challenge is this is not something any nonprofit can solve. It should be a joint venture. It's a public-private partnership. Government have to jump into this project. I cannot solve this problem on my own. Trust me. Even if I join hand with thousands of people in Pakistan, we cannot solve it because the major chunk of infrastructure belongs to government. Government know that where are their schools and where are their teachers, which are the ghost schools, and there are the communities and all these things. So if we have some reliable contact in government and if they are interested, then we can solve problem quickly. So we did some modeling of this project, like how many students are out of school at the moment, what is Pakistan population growth rate, and how many students will be out of school in 2020, in 2030. It's a huge number. 40% of the students will be out of school by 2030. So we have to put the cap on that. So my big challenge at the moment is I need to sit with government and put up this project on a war footing and design a vision, which we have, but implement it, that how we can provide education to each and every child in next 10 years or even 15 years by 2035, because it's a huge challenge. What I am doing is a small thing. It's a very small step, like 22,000 people, 3,000 students, 4,000, 10,000. Maybe in 10 years, I will provide 5 lakh, 500,000. Maybe. It's nothing. When you think about the nation building, then you have to design a vision, 20 years, 50 years, 100-year vision. So our vision at the moment, if in next 15 years or 20 years, if we have to solve the problem, then what we need, and it's a doable thing. I'm telling you, it's a doable thing. We have the technology, internet is there, social media is there, technology is there, people are there. We just have to implement it, right? I do not have access to government Go school. There are so many Go school in Pakistan, in Sindh, in Punjab. I do not have access. I know that if I have the access, I can put each and every teacher on the radar. There would not be any Go school. If we do not cater this problem, it will be a big liability for Pakistan.
You're a successful scientific researcher. Did anyone you remember among your friends or family, I mean, when you pitched this idea, said that, hey, I mean, what are you thinking about? It's not going to work because you had big dreams.
I don't think so. People, they discouraged me in such a way that it's not going to work. In October 2016, I pitched this idea to here at Shark Talk in my university. They asked, okay, if you have any ideas, so we'll give you 2 minutes, and you throw your idea, and then we'll grill you. So hundreds of thousands of students apply, people applied, and they picked only 6 that I was among them. So out of 6, 5 of them, they were mostly science related projects because it was in the university. So mostly science related projects. So mine was just social experiment. So everybody spoke for more than 2 minutes. They grilled them. When I spoke for 1 minute and 50 seconds, and I got standing ovation from 6 people. And 3 of them, they had tear in their eyes. And they told me at that time, like in October 2016, they told me at that time, and I still remember, the guy said, Dr. Q, if you can provide education to out of school children in remote area using technology, like you said, then forget about the money. The money will follow you. Just do it. So today we are here, we are doing it, and it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time then when we'll cross that barrier and people will start coming. The world will approach us. They want to do, want to do, want to do. If you look back at the history, people who made the difference in the society, like, I mean, with reference to Pakistan, Earth Foundation, ED Foundation, all those big guys, Citizen Foundation, the Citizen Foundation, all those big guys who really create the impact in the society, they didn't do it overnight. They had the issue, they had the problem. It took them 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. Today, they are making a big difference in society. So these are my role models. If somebody say you cannot do it, he is referring that there is something which we can do. He's not referring to that. He just thinking what he knows. You cannot do it. Like you have a coin. There's the other side of the coin. If somebody says it's a night, then there's a day. If somebody say you are tall, there's a short person. If somebody say you are slim, there's a fat person. Then there is somebody who can do it.
So that is amazing because you're living in US and you're running this project very successfully, and I always find you very well motivated, and I just want to know, I mean, what is behind that motivation?
The reason is that whatever Allah has given me, I have to give back to the society. My knowledge, my expertise, my health, my time, it does not belong to me. It belongs to the society. So I have to give back to the society. So what I can give back, whatever I learned, what Allah gave me.
Any last message that you would like to give to people who are listening to you, who are watching you? They also have plenty of ideas, but they always find it, kind of, I mean, they focus more on things that demotivate. What would you like to say to them?
I always say one thing to my students, which is very common and everybody says, most of them. Never give up in your life. Things doesn't happen overnight. You have to put time and effort and don't give up. If I give you $1 million and I ask you, can you start some business? You will fail. But if I give you $1,000 and I ask you, can you build a business in the next 5 years? You will pass. Things doesn't happen overnight. You have to have your own passion, talent, expertise. You have to develop your expertise. You have to pull all those things from inside, right? So don't give up. There is no destination in life. It's all about journey. वो कहते हैं कि जिसका जिसको मंजिल मिल गई उसका सफर खत्म हुआ और जिसका सफर खत्म हुआ उसको मंजिल ना मिली. There is no destination. It's all about journey. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Your destination is 6 feet under the ground.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shahid Qamar. It was really inspiring to talk to you. And it's all about journey. This is what I learned. And thanks for joining us. We will be sharing your social media handles to our audience. So if someone would like to contact you, especially as you have said that you would like to extend this project to other parts of the world as well, depending on people who start joining your team. So I hope that there are many people who are going to join you in this journey. Thank you very much for being part of this show.
Thank you so much. It's really great honor to be here. And I always enjoyed your talk whenever I listen online. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.